Hi, it's Terry Warner of Energy Flow Consulting, and I'm here with another tip for how to deal with fear and anxiety. And I wanted to be all rehearsed and polished with these video tips, but with the way life is right now, I realize the only way I'm going to get these videos out there is to just do it. I'm winging it, which is not in my comfort zone, but I talked to you a few days ago about a way to deal with fear and anxiety is centering, and that's just really putting all of your attention and awareness 2 inches below your belly button. And another way is feet and seat. Feel your feet on the floor, feel your seat in the chair. And so I'd love to hear your comments about how you've been doing that and if it's been helping you deal with this challenging time that we're all dealing with. And one of the reasons centering works to help reduce fear and anxiety is because it gets us into the present moment. Fear doesn't exist in the present moment unless you're being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger or a mugger has a knife at your throat. It's usually things that have happened to us in the past that are affecting what we're afraid might happen in the future. So the more present, grounded, centered we get, the more we can choose a more appropriate response to what's going on around us instead of having our knee-jerk reactions or going into threat mode in our brain, which is fight, freeze, or flee, right? So usually we don't have a lot of actual threat in the present moment, but now we actually do. There's a lot of dangerous situations right now. And so now what do? We're grounded, we're present, we're centered, but we're still feeling fear and anxiety. And so one of the things I want to share with you today is a tip about how the brain works. And that is your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. Your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. In a few seconds, I'm going to ask you to not think about something. Do not think about a purple monkey with a pink banana. Now, I'm wondering how many of you actually saw an image of a purple monkey with a pink banana. I'm guessing quite a few of you did. And if some of you managed to not see it, it's probably because I warned you that I was going to ask you not to think about something. So you had a chance to prepare your brain to probably be thinking about something else. Maybe you started imagining the Statue of Liberty against a blue sky, or maybe you looked out the window and focused your attention on something out the window so that you weren't thinking about the monkey with the banana. The reason you can do that is because the way the brain works, you can literally only focus on one thing at a time. Now, you may say, I multitask all the time. You do, but you're actually rapidly shifting your attention from one thing to another to another. It works the same way your eyes work. Line your fingers up like this, one thumb in front of the other thumb, and look down this way. Look at both of your thumbs. Can you see them both at the same time? Yes, you can. Focus your attention on the thumb closest to you. You can see it very clearly in focus. You can still see that other thumb that's farther away, but it's out of focus, right? Now shift your attention to focus on the thumb that's farther away from you. Now that one is clearly in focus, and even though you can kind of see the one closer to you, you can only clearly focus on the one that's farther away. Can you rapidly shift your focus, your attention back and forth between the two thumbs? Of course you can, but you're only clearly focusing on one at a time. Now you intuitively already know this. If you've ever been driving in a strange neighborhood and you start looking for the house number so you turn the radio down, we do this naturally all the time. So now we can more intentionally realize what this is and how to use it to our advantage. So when we start feeling stress, feeling anxiety, pay attention to what you're focusing on. I know for me, I feel an obligation to be paying attention to all the things that are going on, to be keeping up with the news, not only for my own personal situation, but to be a good citizen and to be a good neighbor. And there's so much to keep up on. But if you have the news playing, it's this constant worry, fear. And I can feel my anxiety rising. I also get emails. I was recently supposed to leave today for Cyprus for a 5-week trip, a week in Cyprus and a month in Africa. So I had signed up on the U.S. State Department programs, telling them where I was going. And so I'm getting email updates about things that are shutting down, and travel is shutting down, and this is happening in Cyprus, and this is happening in Zimbabwe, and this is happening in Zambia. I get emails from the United States Embassy where my husband works. I get emails from Romania about us being now in a state of emergency. So the input is constant. And if you notice, it's really going to feed the anxiety. So when I notice this happening, I'm like, okay, I need to shut off all of this input for a little while, shift my focus to solutions. If this is a thing that I have to pay attention to, what's a good strategy to deal with that? If this is a thing that is a little scary, what are some things that I can put into place? Or how can I change the story in my mind about that scary thing to shift it to a more, a productive, a more helpful story, a more solution-oriented story instead of a problem-oriented story. Because my brain can only focus on one thing at a time, it is possible for me to be much more intentional about what I'm focusing my attention on and manage the fear and anxiety. Shift from problem to solution, shift from fear to care, shift from worry to the things that we can control and do something about, and then get into action. And it really, really helps. Particularly right before you're going to sleep, if you find yourself kind of spinning with a lot of thoughts that are not conducive to good sleep, then do a guided imagery meditation. Put your brain somewhere else where you're relaxing and thinking about health, thinking about protection, thinking about all the things you're grateful for, and you'll get a much better night's sleep. So I would love to hear in the comments whether or not this tip was helpful for you and any specifics about how you could shift your focus. Pay attention to what you're focusing on, shift it to something that's more enabling and productive. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay safe, sending you all lots of love and a lot of positive energy.